This is a special coast-to-coast edition of CBS Mornings, live from Blue Origin's Launch Site 1 in West Texas. We are just minutes away from seeing our very own Gayle King blast off into space. I'm Nate Burleson.
And I'm Vladimir Gutier. Tony DeCopo and Dana Jacobson are in New York with some friends to help us celebrate. I spoke with Gayle and the other crew members last night, and folks, let me tell you, they are ready.
Yeah, they are ready. We are ready, and we will get to Vlad's interview in just a bit with all those astronauts right after today's eye-opener, Your World in 90 Seconds.
Have you heard? Gayle, you're going to space.
Yes, I've heard that.
You're going to see a view like this where you get the curvature of the planet.
I have to tell you, I'm so afraid.
Stop, Gayle.
I am. I'm so afraid, but I'm also so excited.
Billions of people have walked the Earth, and only a handful have left the Earth, even for a moment, and you get to be one of them.
No, and I can't wait to see what all the chatter is about. I keep looking at my watch. What's my heart rate now?
You'll be an astronaut.
Do not unbuckle until they say you can unbuckle.
It's an adventure of a lifetime. Embrace the journey.
Best of luck, and I can't wait to pick your brain as soon as you get home.
This is grandson Lucas, one of his favorite stuffed animals. So Tamir is going to space. Astronaut Barbie. She and Tamir haven't started dating yet, but they're good.
You're going up, you're bringing your own perspective, live in that moment, and then bring down and share it.
I'm very fascinated about the wonder of it all and what it means and how I will feel and how I will be changed, because I actually do think I'll be changed. First thing we notice, it says King. The Blue Origin suit. Oh no, Lauren Sanchez killed that, because it looks good, may I say, on all body types.
Gayle King goes to space. 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 Gayle King.
We're leaving.
That's right. Gayle King is going to space. Good morning to everyone watching this special coverage across the country. You are looking at live pictures of the launch pad for the New Shepard rocket in West Texas, where the countdown is on for Gayle's history-making 62-mile journey to space and zero gravity. Just a few moments ago, Gayle and the all-female crew arrived at the launch site. The 60-foot tall rocket is fully reusable and autonomous. And you can check them out right here. You see them walking on that ramp where they are ringing the bell before they head into that capsule. It will reach 2,200 miles an hour, about 3 times the speed of sound. Gayle told us things finally felt real when she got to see the rocket up close and personal this weekend.
Yeah, and as you just pointed out, Nate, we just showed some of those images of the crew walking up the ramp into the capsule, ringing that bell.
Yeah.
It is really a historic moment for these 6 extraordinary women on board. Along with Gayle, the crew, of course, includes pop superstar Katy Perry, former NASA rocket scientist Aisha Bowe, civil rights activist Amanda Wynn, film producer Carrie Ann Flynn, and award-winning journalist Lauren Sanchez. They have been training and preparing all weekend for this very moment. Yesterday, Nate, after I spoke to the crew and before you saw that moment where her team was cheering her on as she got getting ready to leave to Astronaut Village, I gave her the biggest, strongest hug I've ever given her. And I just told her that we all loved her, that we were all rooting for her. I'm already getting emotional. It's only about 30 minutes until this launch happens, and I've had tears in my eyes over the last hour or so. It's really, really an incredible moment.
Yeah, and as you watch this show, I want you to pay attention to the range of emotions. Just look at Gayle.
Yes.
You'll see them go from excited, happy, even some nervousness.
That's right. It gotta be a little
But that's
nerves.
okay, though.
That's right.
Because they are grappling with all of these emotions as they get ready to do something so historic. And here's what to expect. That's going to come up next. So the capsule will be closed around 9:30 a.m. Eastern. They're scheduled for launch. The entire flight should last about 10 minutes, including 3 minutes of weightlessness, which they are prepared for. Then the capsule will touch down on Earth and be met by a recovery team, as well as friends and, of course, family of the crew. And we are going to go to Mark Strassman, who we have been talking with all morning, who has a slightly better view than we have. He is on the viewing stand where many of the crew's family and friends will be watching. Mark, what's the atmosphere like there? What can we expect during launch?
Hey, Nate, good morning again. I can tell you the atmosphere here is starting to pick up. Some of the special invited friends and family of the 6 crew members are now showing up here on the viewing platform where I am, about a little less than 2 miles from the launch pad itself. And I can also tell you that from where I'm standing just about 15 minutes ago, I had a Gayle King sighting. Gayle and the other 5 future astronauts came out of the astronaut training center. They piled into a couple of trucks. They were greeted by all their supporters. Gayle's are easy to spot. They're all dressed in yellow. They include her 2 children, and they include Oprah Winfrey, who they gave each other a kiss before they drove off. And now, of course, Gayle is left with her nerves and her excitement as she's inside the capsule. Let's take a quick look now at what Gayle and the crew will be experiencing while they're headed to space. Almost 3 minutes into the flight, the crew capsule separates from the booster. The astronauts will experience maximum aerodynamic pressure and eventually reach the apogee, or the highest point of their flight. By then, weightlessness will have kicked in. They'll have the chance to float around for 3, maybe as much as 4 minutes. At that point, they will have been up there about 5 or 6 minutes. The booster rocket will land first, and then several minutes later, after the crew has returned to their seats, drogue parachutes will deploy, followed by the main parachutes. The capsule will land back in the desert here in West Texas, bringing our newly minted astronauts back down to Earth. And I can only think now about what Gayle and the other women are thinking about as they sit in those seats, waiting for all the systems checks to be completed, waiting for the word that this launch is a go. So it's a remarkable moment for everybody involved. Nate?
All right, Mark, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Vlad.
I was lucky enough, Nate, to sit down with all 6 crew members after they finished training yesterday. They were very tired. They've had a long weekend. But once I started talking with them, you could feel how excited they were for this incredible journey ahead. And we started off with a very simple but sort of complicated exercise. I asked each of them to describe how they're feeling in just one word. Here's what everyone had to say.
Less than 24 hours to go until you all blast off into space. So in a word, I would like each of you to describe how you're feeling at this very moment. Lauren, beginning with you.
One word?
Yeah.
Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Justice.
Justice.
At peace.
At peace. Carrie Ann.
Exhilarated.
Exhilarated.
Worthiness.
Worthiness. Gail.
Blessed.
Blessed.
I have another word that I've been saying, surrender.
Surrender.
For me, definitely surrender.
What does that mean, surrender?
Well, because, Vlad, this is it's such an unlikely place for me to be. And so I've just, in my mind, just said, okay, I feel well prepared for this moment after the training we've had for the last couple of days, but it still hasn't eased the fear that I have.
Carrie Ann, this has been a dream of yours for a very long time.
This has been a dream of mine for a very long time. It has felt mostly like a personal journey. I grew up in Michigan, looking at the stars with wonder. I went through my life, my career, and never really thought that going up there to be among those stars was a possibility. And now it's a reality.
Amanda, the word that you shared with us is justice.
Justice takes different forms. When Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon, bombs rained down on Vietnam. When my family looked at the sky, they saw death. But tomorrow, when they look at the sky, they'll see the first Vietnamese woman in space. And to me, that represents that we can achieve whatever it is, no matter who we are or where we come from. It is absolutely possible. And also critically, that dreams are important, even amidst tragedy.
I know.
I know, Gail.
Exactly.
I know.
I rest my case.
You brought everything here. You brought water, beautiful setting, but you forgot the tissues.
Where are my tissues? Exactly.
Yeah, we keep saying that this is going to be, it's emotional for everyone going up. It's emotional and very personal.
I want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about, Lauren, how you came to put this incredible team together.
When Jeff went up and he came back down, and I was so excited for him. Within 24 hours, he's like, would you ever go up? I was like, oh, what? I was like, yes, I would go up. And in that exact moment, I said, could I take all women up? And he goes, that's a great idea. And he goes, I don't think there's ever been an all-female flight. He goes, let's do it. And that's how it came about. Every single woman on this couch is an explorer. And sometimes we don't think of women as explorers, but we are. We really are.
I also think it sends a strong message to young boys about what women and what girls can do.
Let's talk about the training. Katie, what surprised you about training?
Yes.
So many seatbelts.
Many clicks. Yeah, you have to put it in a certain way at a certain time. The way you put your feet in the straps when you're going into zero gravity, how you get in and out of the chair, in and out of the seat, all of those things.
It's all a bit of a dance. And
It is a dance.
It's choreography.
Were there some of you that picked it up a little easier than others, or did everybody?
Oh, it definitely wasn't me. You would think it would be me as a pilot, but I was the first one to have to go, and I had to do it like 6 times.
Amanda, one of the things that I really, really want people to get out of this chat that we're having is that there will be scientific experiments conducted during this journey to space. What are they?
So, in the beginning of NASA, women were actually barred from becoming NASA astronauts, and one of the reasons cited was menstruation, but they didn't have the data to back that up. And so on this flight, I am examining different wound dressing mediums and how they interact with fluid dynamics to the viscosity of menstruation blood and getting the data to back that up. So a little justice in science.
How do you think you're going to affect the way children see you, the way children see all of you astronauts?
Well, I think we're doing that before I come back. I'm getting letters and notes from students all around the country who are watching this and are so excited. I have a 9-year-old who wrote me who is determined to lead the Mars crew, who saw Gail and I speaking and said, "Thank you for making what I want to do cool."
Katie, there are a lot of songs that you've written and sung that are space themed, maybe, or are you going to hum anything?
We've been asking.
Have you really?
Yes, of course.
What do you mean?
I have an idea.
Fireworks, roar. How about roar?
Yes.
I have an idea, and if I do it, it won't be about me or for me. It'll be for the beautiful Earth that we get to see. Because I think the perspective that we're all going to walk away from is like, oh my gosh, we have to protect our mother.
Yes.
Fiercely.
Yes.
There's been some negative online reaction surrounding this mission, and I just want to get your thoughts on this.
There's always positive and negative, always. And, you know, Blue Origin's mission is for the benefit of Earth.
Yes.
And you should go walk around and ask anyone who works here how they feel about this mission. And I think you'll get choked up. Yes. And so to me, I just think it's a little misunderstood, especially for all the people that give everything to make this flight possible, to make it safe.
Many people think that if you're devoting resources to space, you're taking things away from Earth. It isn't an either or, it's a both and. Mm-hmm. And what happens in space also benefits what is happening here on Earth. Listen, this wasn't my dream growing up, but if it was my dream, I wouldn't have been able to see anybody that looked like me, either certainly a person of color or a female. That would not have been possible. So now that we are the first female crew, I know we're not going to be the last. That's right. And I just think it opens doors about innovation and imagination.
And let me just quickly update our audience, folks. I am told that the hatch has now closed. Yep. The astronauts are in the hatch, in the capsule, and the hatch is now closed.
Yeah, you're right about that. And we are joined right now by former NASA astronaut Dr. Mae Jemison. Back in 1992, she became the first woman of color ever to travel to space. Dr. Jemison joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
As Vlad mentioned, they are now in. The hatch is closed. What is that moment like? Because I am feeling nervous right now for them.
Well, I think there's one of you feel exhilarated, like if you're in the moment, you've been waiting for this, whether it's with bated breath or whether it's with a little bit of trepidation, you're there in the moment. And I think that that's the part of it. I remember when I was on my flight at Kennedy Space Center, and I was the last crew because of the member to go into the shuttle because of the way it was situated. Yeah. And I remember looking out and just like realizing here I am on Earth, and just in a few minutes things were going to change. And it was a feeling that lifted me and made me feel connected.
Yeah.
one of the things Gail told me yesterday, and Dr. Jemison, you can speak to this, is they told her, look, when the hatch is closed and they fire up those boosters, you're going to hear the loudest roar that you've ever heard in your life. Oh, and by the way, there will be flames. The capsule will light up in orange. It's okay.
Yeah. And also a slight tilt.
A slight tilt as the boosters take off. There's going to be a slight tilt, which will feel a lot
like a
greater than
tilt.
10 degrees.
Of course.
And that kind of stuff is good to be told beforehand.
I was going to say.
Of course.
Because otherwise you have another kind of experience.
Yeah.
But what I find very interesting about that is that because it's a very different vehicle, some of the people who flew on the shuttle had never worked on launches, said when they actually saw a launch, it's like, whoa, I didn't know there was that much flame and everything coming out of the back of it. But because these are very different vehicles, we wouldn't have seen that from inside.
But when they come down, 5Gs is not. 5Gs is pretty significant.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's for short periods of time. You mean with the Blue Origin capsule?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's for short periods of time, but they actually land at less than 15 miles per hour, 1 mile per hour when you finally get down. 15 miles per hour is about what you land if you parachute trade, when you jump out of parachute and you come down.
Yeah.
So it's actually a fairly gentle profile for a rocket.
All right. Well, you're going to be sticking around with us, right? And we appreciate you
You're
for
going
that.
to be with us for
Thank
the next
you
couple
so
of
much.
hours,
That's
Dr.
right.
Jemison. We appreciate you coming up. We'll continue counting down to Gail's big moment. We are just about 13 minutes away from the launch window. Our special coverage continues. Stay with us.
I think I asked direct questions. I don't know that they're tough questions per se.
When do consumers actually get to touch and feel a difference in their lives? So you would encourage Democrats to work with Donald Trump on an issue like healthcare?
That's the role of Face the Nation, to focus on the issues at hand. That means a civil conversation with perspective.
Sunday morning, Wicked Oscar nominee Cynthia Erivo. A few words from Flo, plus 100 years of The New Yorker. Listen for the trumpet.
It was almost like being face-to-face with the devil.
Women riding bicycles dismembered.
She just vanished.
48 hours reports. I fought and fought.
911, what is your emergency?
She disappeared off the face of the earth. Ever think in your wildest dreams someone might want to kill you?
This almost became a game of psychological warfare.
You're caught. You're gonna go down.
Stream 48 hours, 24/7. CBS Sunday night.
Here we go.
The ultimate tradition continues.
From what I've seen, it's like chaos.
America's longest-running news magazine show is back.
For 60 minutes! 60 minutes.
With a new season.
Hey, let's go.
You're willing to talk about anything. I'm open to all of it.
Ask me the hard-hitting questions.
So how do you get over the nerves? Honestly, it's a whole bunch of mind
The most influential people.
Who's the best coach in college football?
Let me see a mirror so I can look at it.
Are you a billionaire yet? None of your business. Ain't you trying to get me robbed?
Investigative journalism.
Am I getting a real look at what life is like in here today? Absolutely not.
Do you think people visiting know that these were looted?
When stories threaten our way of life, 60 Minutes demands answers.
This is the pager that Hezbollah was using.
Do you have hope that you may find him yet?
They were asking me to do something that was illegal.
They're fighting for faulty parts?
Yeah. What is the most important takeaway for our audience?
How big of a problem is doping?
Where was the military?
Why are people suspicious?
That sounds like a problem.
How is this possible?
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Whoa.
Wow.
What is going on?
I'm Scott Pelley.
I'm John Worth.
I'm Leslie Stahl.
I'm Bill Whitaker.
I'm Sharon Alfonsi.
I'm Cecilia Vega.
I'm Anderson Cooper.
This is 60 Minutes.
The CBS News original.
Showtime, baby.
It's time for 60 Minutes Sunday on CBS. Don't miss a minute. Now streaming. What happens when you get conversation over conflict?
I think they've taught me to have grace and compassion.
When we follow the human side of the headline.
I'm not asking that we ignore disability, rather that we do not ignore ability.
When news takes you where the story happens.
We've just crossed into Lebanon.
When the world's best journalists come together to cover your world, you get the all-new CBS Evening News every weeknight.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you.
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With highlights.
What a finish at the final round of play.
And in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap,
we're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
Find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
Let 60 Minutes take you on a private tour of the National Archives.
So there may be treasures like this buried in boxes.
Historical secrets from America's past.
So this is original from 1778?
Folks, what you are seeing and what you will perhaps also hear is Blue Origin's coverage of this historic launch. We are in that 10-minute window where Blue Origin will decide whether this mission is go or no go. This is a very, very historic motion. All right, we're going to be right back. Let's take a break.
Can see clearly now.
Clearly, CBS Mornings.
Weekdays on CBS.
Yeah!
Tony, coming?
No, I'm going to stick around for an hour.
Hey!
CBS Mornings Plus with Adriana Diaz and Tony DeCopel right after CBS Mornings.
It's just like mornings.
Plus fun.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
Politics isn't a game.
When do consumers actually get to touch and feel a difference in their lives?
Politics is about policy.
So you would encourage Democrats to work with Donald Trump on an issue like health care?
I'm a voracious consumer of information, and I'm impatient. I don't like to be spun.
Do you know if there are active terror cells in the United States right now?
To be moderator of Face the Nation means bringing the most powerful stakeholders to the table to become better informed.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you.
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With highlights.
What a finish at the final round of play.
And in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap,
we're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
Find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.
While America's relaxing policies around social media and the internet, Germany is cracking down on lies and vitriol online.
How do people react when you take their phones from them?
They are shocked.
Which approach makes more sense? Plus, Timothy Chalamet only on 60 Minutes.
Don't miss true crime anytime you want, anywhere you go with the 48 Hours podcast. Real crimes.
Like a John Grisham novel come to life.
Real lives.
He pointed a gun to me and said, "This is the day you die." And he shot me.
Real justice.
There's some questions that have to be asked and need to be answered.
I'm an innocent man, and I hope the whole world can see it now.
Catch the latest episodes. Listen to 48 Hours on Apple Podcasts.
The all-new CBS Evening News every weeknight.
This is CBS.
Politics isn't a game.
When do consumers actually get to touch and feel a difference in their lives?
Politics is about policy.
So you would encourage Democrats to work with Donald Trump on an issue like health care?
I'm a voracious consumer of information, and I'm impatient. I don't like to be spun.
Do you know if there are active terror cells in the United States right now?
To be moderator of Face the Nation means bringing the most powerful stakeholders to the table to become better informed.
CBS Mornings Plus, clearly more news, more smart conversation.
More money-saving tips, more recipes.
More uplifting ways to get you on your way.
Plus, more sports, more weather.
Clearly more CBS Mornings.
Plus,
Commence terminal 10.
Local flight.
Yeah, baby, go for launch, my favorite words.
Wow. That's right. You heard that correctly. Go for launch. We are continuing this special edition of CBS Mornings Live, coast to coast on Gail's history-making trip into space, and Blue Origin saying that we are go for launch. Yeah, we can all feel it right now. The stage is set and the launch pad is ready here in West Texas. We are now just moments away from liftoff. Earlier, Gail and the rest of the all-female crew made their way into the capsule, and it was a sight to see. Just check out Gail for a second. Look at her face. You can tell she is lost in the moment.
You know what it's like going through that tunnel before you hit the field?
I can see it. I can feel it. She is ready to rock and roll, and so are we. We've got full coverage for you here. Plus, the team in New York is standing by. We are all excited about what is about to happen.
We can feel the excitement here, guys. When they said go for launch, we got excited. We are cheering. Tony, Dan, and David, you are joined now by Extreme Explorer and former Blue Origin crew member Vanessa O'Brien, who obviously knows exactly what it's like. We're also here feeling that moment. I can just tell you that when we heard that go for no go, even the crew here, you guys can't see what we can see, but there's an entire crew of CBS Mornings.
Collectively, we all took a deep breath.
That's right. We really did.
Goosebumps.
It is, I'm getting goosebumps. I'm feeling it. And we're going to hear it, Nate, as soon as that launch happens, which we are now less than 8 minutes away.
Yeah, you know, when we first started early in the morning, it was still dark, so we couldn't see, but it does seem like the launch site is so close to us that I can touch it. So we're not only going to hear it, we're going to feel it. I'm just wondering what Gail is thinking right now.
I know that we know that she's been, up until this weekend, she was nervous, but exhilarated. I know yesterday when I spoke to her, she was getting excited. She's getting excited. When she heard all the stories, it was a very powerful moment.
All right, let's send it back to the team in New York. Tony, what's up?
Vlad, Nate, it's been very powerful coverage. We've been noting as we watch Gail and the rest of the crew walk the Gantry Bridge into the capsule. There was a lot of excitement, but Gail's face was also, let's be honest, it was pretty serious.
Very serious.
Those are straight lines, and that's not a smile. She's focused in, and I think she's contemplating how significant this moment really is.
Vanessa, you've been in this moment. What is that like?
So when you're sitting inside that capsule and you've walked over the bridge, you are taking a position. I can maybe hold it up here. You've got a door, and all the individuals are coming in and taking their position in their seats. These seats are fixed specifically for their height and their weight. And sitting there before they launch the rocket is it seems like forever, right? This time stands still, especially when there's delays. And you have up to 2 minutes and 30 seconds to say 4 words, "I will not fly." And then the whole thing shuts down. So for me, I was nervous about passing that time because, then you're really locked and loaded. You're going.
And that's where we are right now. So the crew door is locked. The escape system is armed. We're inside the 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So it seems all systems are go. Bill, you said this never goes off on time, and here we are on time.
I know. I mean, prove me wrong, right?
Or you're sticking with it. It does happen.
I mean, as Vanessa knows, typically they'll run into little things they want to check. They want to make absolutely sure everything's working perfectly. And so holes are not at all unusual with these Blue Origin flights. But the countdown seems to be proceeding smoothly.
One of the things we saw there, we saw the bell, and Tony had asked you, there's significance to that bell and the ringing of that bell.
Yeah, it's an old shipping lore, and so it goes back to in the shipping days when people used to ring the bell to notify the other people that a very important person is coming.
Well, that bell is on the gantry, and the gantry is pulling back. So this is getting very real indeed. 6 women whose paths were very different on this earth. They're all meeting in one place inside that capsule, and their fates are intertwined now. We also saw, before the gantry was pulled back, Jeff Bezos was in a flight suit. He was out there. Bill, I mean, you think about him being a little boy. He was 5, he says, when he saw Armstrong reach the moon. He always wanted to play in the world of rockets, and now he is. And in fact, we're getting word now that they are so close, inside of 1 minute, as you hear my voice, T-minus. We're going to listen in now to the sights, the sounds from West Texas.
Vehicle is now on internal power.
So in a moment here, we'll see those, what they call the bit checks, the built-in test checks. As you mentioned, Kristen, inside the capsule, as you said, this is like a bridled beast. This thing wants to take off.
Switch to onboard helium.
Here we go. Good luck and Godspeed, ladies. We're cheering you on from
Let's
planet
launch
Earth.
this
Thrust
rocket.
termination system is armed. Whew. T-minus 22 seconds and counting.
Code is internal.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, command engine start, 2, 1, ignition. Liftoff. New Shepard has cleared the tower. Flight. 6,000 feet climbing. Begin throttle down for Q limiting. Engine response looks good. Max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. Mach 1, vehicle is supersonic. Engine back up to full throttle.
Supersonic, we have passed through max Q, maximum
Chamber pressures look
dynamic
good.
pressure. That's when the stresses between the atmosphere
Passing
and the
47,000
speed
feet
are
and
at the
climbing.
maximum. So to punch through that is so important. You see the BE3 engines is firing beautifully. You see the stream of steam behind it. Those ladies right now are
1 minute,
having
40
an
seconds into flight.
incredible view on their way to space. Passing through 80,000 feet, 1,300
Passing
miles per
85,000
hour. You're going to peak at about 2,300 miles an hour over Mach 3 times the speed of sound. Shortly coming up, we'll have MECO, main engine cutoff. We will turn off the engine, but the two craft, the capsule and the booster, will continue their ascent to space.
Stand by, MECO.
And our
There you saw. The main engine is turned off. We're now going to separate the capsule from the booster, and at that point, Kristen, that's when all 6 astronauts are going to start to feel the weightlessness, and shortly thereafter, we're going to let them unbuckle.
And that right there is the most critical milestone of this whole ascent. Oprah watching her best friend go to space.
Oh man, Nate, this was, I don't know. I got chills. I got tears in my eyes when I first heard the enormous burst of sound.
Yeah.
Dr. Mae Jemison is here with us to describe what we just saw with our very own eyes. Our friend, our colleague, Gayle King, and the rest of the Blue Origin crew heading into space.
So what you saw were tons of high explosives in a controlled explosion that propelled them up high. And that's the sound and the rumble. And so it's very visceral. You feel it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think when we watched them until they went out of sight, it was just really exciting because you know how high they are.
Okay, so once they went out of sight, so small that we couldn't see them, were they still going up?
They were still going up. They were still going up, and I think main engine cutoff maybe happened about like less than a minute after that.
Okay.
After we couldn't see them anymore, and then the capsule separated from the main booster. The main booster is going to come back and land.
Yeah.
We're gonna pause, Dr. Jemison, and listen here because we can actually hear them on the main feed. Let's listen.
The highest point in flight, well over 345,000 feet, well over the Kármán line.
Wow.
And at this moment, the astronauts have unstrapped from their seats. They are floating. They are weightless. They are experiencing zero-G for the very first time in their lives. And Katy Perry did say that she was going to sing in space. I'm waiting for it.
Waiting for it.
1 minute warning. 1 minute warning.
So that is Capcom indicating a 1 minute warning for our astronauts to take in those last views before they get buckled back into their seats. At this point, both craft are descending already.
Oh my God, gosh, wow, so peaceful.
And you hear
Dragon. Report status.
1, 2, 3,
Copy. Whip. Report status. Copy. All astronauts in seat.
And a great piece of news there. All astronauts are back in their seats. You see the two craft now. That on the bottom, that is the rocket that is screaming back down to Earth. The rocket will beat the capsule to its landing spot just 2 miles north of where it's taken off from. At the top of the rocket, you see a couple of fins that have popped out. Those are to stabilize the rocket as it comes into land. Shortly thereafter, you will see the drag brakes that deploy that will cut the speed of the rocket in half. And then in the last moments,
and there it is. We can see it from the stage.
There comes the rocket down. It's going to relight its engine. We're going to also see a sonic boom. We're going to hear that shortly here.
And remember, this is something that had never been done before until just a few years ago. Truly the stuff of science fiction that you're about to watch in just seconds.
Drag
there we
brakes.
go. Woo! Sonic boom.
Engine relight. And booster touchdown, welcome home, New Shepard.
Picture perfect landing right there.
Picture perfect landing.
Right on target.
You see that dust kind of creates this dramatic cloud that reveals the beautiful rocket that has just taken these ladies up to space and back.
And I love the echo across the mountains. Is that what I was hearing there?
That's what
nice
you were hearing. You heard the sonic boom, then you heard the engine relight, and all of that reverberates in this big, beautiful valley in West Texas.
Stand by drogues. Stand by drogues.
All right, shortly here, we're waiting to see the drogue parachutes deploy from the crew capsule. Those are like the guide parachutes. There we go, the drogue parachutes.
Just free-falling right there until those drogues came out.
And then next will be the main parachutes that get pulled out.
Hear that screaming inside the capsule?
And all three parachutes reefing, and they will slowly inflate, slowing the capsule to a nice, smooth 10, 15 miles an hour. They are cruising back home.
3 good parachutes.
And I tell you, Kristen, from having gone through all of the simulations, I have gone through all of the training. They put you in the capsule that simulates all of this, including the sounds, and when you hear the motors of the parachutes pop out, that is the best moment in flight.
Because I know Blue Origin does everything they can to make this as safe as possible, and y'all have an impeccable safety record, but it still has to feel really good when you know that you're coming back to Earth with those parachutes fully deployed.
And we can see the capsule just over our shoulder here, going to be landing north and east of the launch pad, coming down softly and beautifully. 500 feet.
And you will see a puff of smoke when it touches down, a puff of dust.
Actually, yes.
That's normal.
A puff of dust, last milliseconds, air cushion that will kick up the dust. It's a very soft landing despite the sporty perception. There it is.
That's it. I mean, there we are, folks. Successfully back on Earth. Let me just say, all of us here were excited. There were tears of joy as we saw it all unfold in front of our eyes, Nate. We could hear the astronauts, and they are now astronauts. We could hear them in the capsule cheering. And my favorite moment, the moment that actually made me burst out into tears, is when I heard Gail saying, "Oh, look at that." Because she was so scared going and leading up to this moment. And we told her not to be. We told her it was going to be incredible. And then we could hear her marveling at Mother Earth as she looked at it from the capsule. And that for me, and I've got my little Gail pom-pom.
Yeah, we're all here celebrating. So many emotions running through us right now.
Ooh.
I cannot wait to talk to Gail, because I know that she embraced every single moment of it. You could hear it in her voice. You can hear all the other women. This was special to be part of.
It was very special. And, you know, when we first heard the blast, the liftoff, right, we were like, it's going.
Yeah.
And, you know, through every stage of the 11 minutes that these astronauts were on this voyage, all I could think about is how incredible what it is that they're doing, because so few humans have ever done this. That's the thing that is remarkable to me. Out of the hundreds of billions of people who've lived on this planet, only a couple of hundred, several hundred, have been able to go into space.
Yeah, what an assignment to be here for this historic moment, and my heart is very full. You know, we want to bring in Mark Strassman to add a little bit of detail to what he is seeing and what's going to happen next.
Hey, Nate, I'm standing on the viewing platform a couple of miles from the launch pad. There are about 40 or 50 specially invited friends and family of the now newly minted astronauts who have been standing with me. And one of the many extraordinary parts of the last 10 minutes has been that all these people, 40 or 50 people, have all been staring at the sky and looking and cheering, and nobody has been looking at their phone. That's amazing to me. And instead staring up and cheering and just riveted to the drama going on for whoever it is that they are connected to here. And frankly, I think a lot of people are connected to everybody on board in this moment. And so now we have, I saw something else, which is there is a Blue Origin recovery team heading out to get the astronauts out of the capsule. As part of that recovery team, each of the astronauts has a family member or a friend who has been allowed to go out as part of a convoy to go out to greet them. We saw Oprah Winfrey dressed in a bright yellow outfit get into a truck and head out as part of that convoy. Each of the astronauts will come out one at a time to be greeted by their friends and family. And what a homecoming that's going to be, right? I mean, this is just, again, one of those moments that is hard to replicate in any other way. A successful launch, space experience, and landing now of 6 women who went up beyond the Kármán line, beyond the edge of space, floated for 3 minutes or so, had some extraordinary views. I thought I heard Katy Perry singing up there, and listen, she had a lot to sing about. Nate?
All right, Mark, thank you so much. We'll check back in with you a little bit later. Right now, we want to bring in Dr. Mae Jemison. You joined us all morning, and I'm sorry we had to pepper you with so many questions while this was going on, but I just need to know what I was looking at. Can you break down what just happened over the last 15 minutes?
So what happened is first you saw the flame, then you felt the sound,
No
right?
doubt.
So it's a treat for your eyes and your body. But even more than that, you saw the ingenuity, the commitment, the talent that goes into making space launches possible. You saw the courage that it takes for people to get on it, the courage that it also takes for the engineers and the other folks to make it happen. And then you saw some of the possibilities for the future. That's what I think you saw. And what they're going to come back and tell us is that they saw the Earth from a whole different perspective. They saw our atmosphere, which is our home. That's what happened. And then they came back. And that's the important part.
That's right.
Come back to share the story.
Dr. Jemison, everyone who's been into space, the first time they go and they come back, they talk about what you're suggesting here, which is you've never considered the planet that we share, this little blue marble in this universe, in the way that you consider it once you've seen it from the majesty of space. Can you just describe that first moment, that how you felt the first time you saw Earth from space?
So I have a little bit different take on it, but let me tell you, the first thing I saw from space was Chicago. Is where I grew up, my hometown. And I remember being a little girl on the south side of Chicago, assuming I'd go into space at a time where there were no women, there were no people of color, that the United States was sitting in space. So for me, it was one about commitment and, hey, we're able to do remarkable things. In terms of the connection to the Earth, I've always felt connected to the Earth. I think what it does is it helps us to understand that we have this privilege to be on this wonderful planet. And what we have to do right now is to make sure that we don't treat it in such a way that it won't keep being hospitable to our life form. That's what I took away from it, that this planet is remarkable, it has remarkable potential, and that we owe it to ourselves to do a better job.
Let me just describe for our viewers what's happening here. The vehicles that you saw going out to the capsule are the very close friends and families of those astronauts who they've selected to join them once they exit the capsule. And I believe for Gail, it's going to be, of course, favorite daughter Kirby, favorite son Will, and her best friend Oprah Winfrey, who are out there in that very area that you're looking at right now, where the capsule is landed. And there are more friends and family back in the stands. But this is a select group of very, very close friends and family who are going to greet the astronauts as they step out of the capsule.
And they have to go through safety protocols. You can't just land and then pop out. They have to do things the way that they actually prepared themselves to. But this is something special. You know, Doc, I want to bring you back in because we talked about representation and how it matters when it comes to this all-female crew that just went up into space. How does that sink into a woman who broke some barriers herself?
So I'm going to quote Lizzo. It's about damn time.
Okay.
Right? I mean, it's one of those things that I would never have imagined would take us this long to get to. And so why it's important is that it's not that women hadn't gone up before. It's that we are fully capable of doing this on our own, right? Fully capable of commanding the space station, fully capable of doing all-female spacewalks. What's really important about this is the world is getting to see it in a way that sometimes we don't cover it, right? From stem to stern, so that folks actually know the folks that went on board, they feel comfortable with them, and they know that, you know, this is not something that's gonna just happen once. It's gonna happen more.
Of course.
So we want to get, I think we, Tony and Dana and David are standing by in New York. And guys, I don't know how you felt and what you did when we saw that booster and that capsule blast off into space, but let's get your reaction. I know Bill Harwood's there with you and some others who are going to describe the immense emotion and feeling of triumph that happens when you blast off into space and come back successfully to Earth.
Well, Vlad, we were holding our breath. When we heard the Blue Origin announcer, their team, say that thing wants to take off, I was like, woo, here we go. But David, I want to hear your thoughts, because I see you as kind of an interpreter of wonder, and what we just witnessed was anything if not wonderful.
I had the first phase of chills, right? Like the goosebumps. And then I got very emotional. And what I realized is the gratitude I feel, not because I'm on there, but because I'm getting to be a witness to it. And I think just the ability to be a witness to it. When that rocket was coming back down and landed with such precision, I thought to myself, what a time to be alive. Yeah. What a time to be alive and to be human and to witness something like this. I got to be honest with you. When I saw Gail's face, Gayle King has taught me, always speak candidly. She looked terrified, and it scared the hell out of me. And so as it went up, I asked you, if you'll remember, are we out of danger yet? You were like, no, not yet. You said the descent is actually worse. And I thought, oh gosh. She was being so honest about fear. There were conversations about, you know, if something goes wrong, there were questions for us to ask. I was so nervous. But to witness this as a human, thank you, Gayle King. She deserves every bit of good that comes from it. And to Bezos and the team and Lauren Sanchez, you know, when they write the story of Gail's life, astronaut and first female crew to space will be there.
Yeah, on time.
What a billboard.
You're absolutely right. On time, on target, a very successful launch. Bill, I've seen a lot of rockets launch into the air. I have not seen many land, and we saw a rocket land today on target. What does that mean?
It's another indication of the commercialization of space. You know, Elon Musk builds Falcon 9s. One took off this morning earlier. The first stage came back and landed. You know, they've done that hundreds of times. But seeing people come down like that on a human-rated spacecraft like this, that's unique to this point anyway.
For people watching at home, I've heard you say that this could come down in price point to around the level of Around the World Cruise. Still a reach, but something that a lot of people could possibly reach for.
That's a guesstimate, guys. I mean, that's what they hope will happen with Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin. Economies of scale, if you can launch enough of these things, price can come down.
And we're watching them because this is some of the safety checks. They have to check on everybody through the windows. Vanessa, you've gone through this. And you and I just kept saying, and maybe I just hang on to the emotion of it. I couldn't stop smiling. The way they're feeling in there, how you felt, this roller coaster of emotion continues for them to a point where you have to collect yourself sometimes in there before you come out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Bill and I were chatting earlier about, you know, can you measure the difference that this makes in your life? And the answer is yes, because we have wireless MRIs. And so what I did very quickly was wear a wireless MRI, T minus, T plus, 5 minutes rotating rock, 5 minutes rotating Earth before. My brain did not differentiate the rock and Earth. After the flight, rotating rock, rotating Earth, 5 minutes, my parietal lobe lit up like a Christmas tree, which means decrease. I was at one with what I was seeing. So
which is why people do walk out of this experience and feel differently about Earth and how they view our Earth.
It is changing.
How much does the heart rate increase when you're riding on this thing?
How fast can you run?
So
that adrenaline, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're sweating. You are absolutely sweating when that 5.2 Gs comes on descent.
Wow.
Because think about this, things don't fall to Earth.
Sure.
The last meteorite I remember falling was 2013 in Russia. You saw these huge pieces of metal poke through the windows. You have to pierce that barrier to Earth.
And they're back.
Looks like Jeff Bezos might be the first to greet them. When they step out.
He's holding some sort of an implement. Bill, do you know quickly what that is before we go back out to Texas?
And are they unstrapped at this point? Are they unbuckled at this point? Or not yet?
It looks like they're standing inside. Okay. They're probably, if people are, they'll go in reverse order. So 6 went first last time. 1 will come out first here. I think Lauren is 6.
Yeah.
But reverse order, they'll come out. But usually people need a minute because they're emotional inside and they know they're going to walk out to cameras and cheers and applause. So, but this is one of the most, the great historic moments for women, and it really disrupts the future of space and paths to space.
And let me just jump in real quick to clarify what I said earlier. people have come down on spacecraft before. I mean, the Space Shuttle, Gemini, Mercury, and Apollo, but this is the commercialization factor that I was referring to without
astronauts who trained for their entire lives.
Right.
And that's the disruptor, is that the men and women and boys and girls out there can have this in their life.
Yeah. And Bezos has that hatch popped. Nate, Vlad, are you watching this?
We are watching it, Tony, and that is Bezos who just popped the hatch open, and he is welcoming all of the crew out for the first time.
Lauren Sanchez is out first. I think we're going to see Gail the next, because I think she's in the next position. I could be wrong about that, but let's listen in.
We have to go there. Okay.
Katie!
Thank you. Thank you. I just have to have a moment with the ground. Let me just appreciate the ground for just a second. Thank you, Jesus. Oh my God. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
I'm so proud. So proud of you.
Oh my God.
Amazing. I'm so proud of you.
I mean, Nate, what a beautiful moment to see all these astronauts coming out of the capsule. And, of course, our own Gayle King kissing the ground. Hugging Jeff Bezos. But, look, I've been getting text messages from people all over, young and old, and even my wife sent me a photograph of Celine watching the space launch. And you can see she's pointing to the television screen with a big
huge smile on her face.
Right. That's how momentous this is for, I just think, people who dream big dreams and they see what they just saw, what we just witnessed. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, and I think some would say, oh, it's an all-female crew, so every little girl is going to be watching. That's a correction here. I say every little girl, every little boy. The representation for everyone that looks up to these women who all came from different walks of life to have an historic moment that we all witnessed.
I also hope that we know that it's not just the little girls and the little boys, it's the grown folks who are making the decisions and telling you what you can and cannot do and making sure that we're included everybody in it. So it's the whole group of humanity that we're talking about.
And speaking of, there's something that you said before that I thought was really powerful that really applies to this moment. You said that what is above us unites us. What did you mean by that?
If you think about it, every group of people around the world have looked at the stars, have figured out what was their movement and things like that. So space exploration is a part of all of us, and it's the sky is where our weather comes from.
Yeah.
So what's above us unites us, and hopefully we'll think of ourselves as Team Earthlings.
Oh, we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, and thank you at home for watching our special live coast-to-coast coverage of Gail's historic Blue Origin mission to space. Make sure you head over to CBS News 24/7 to hear from Gail herself. You know we can't wait to hear what she has to say. That's later on in the press conference. For our viewers in the West, CBS Mornings continues in a moment. Don't go anywhere.
What happens when the world's best journalists come together?
This was an entire building. It will take years to rebuild.
We're from CBS News, American television.
You get the all-new CBS Evening News every weeknight.
this case.
It's like a screenplay, something straight out of Hollywood.
But it's not fiction. It's 48 hours.
Human remains found this week.
4 families shattered.
There's no physical evidence.
The mystery would haunt investigators for years.
There's some questions that have to be asked and need to be answered.
Like a John Grisham novel.
A gripping true crime original. 48 hours. Now streaming on the free CBS News app.
No matter how you start your day, one thing is clear.
CBS Mornings is the best way to start your day.
I can see clearly now.
My morning routine.
The first thing I do when I wake up is turn off the alarm.
I try to remember where I...
Welcome to a very special edition of CBS Mornings, live from Launch Site 1 in West Texas. I am Nate Burleson.
I'm Vladimir Jutte. We, folks, have just witnessed history. Gayle King going into space. Here is the moment. Our beloved co-anchor exited the capsule and quite literally kissed the ground. Are we showing it? There it is. Look,
yeah, here it is.
First of all, she gave thanks to the heavens.
Yep, no doubt.
Got to give thanks. And then...
she touched the ground.
That's right.
And then kissed the ground.
Felt that earth between her fingers.
And given what we know about Gayle, that's pretty fitting that she would hug the earth.
That was as real of a moment as you'll ever see.
Once her feet hit the ground. You're right. And we showed you the moment where it blasted off. You could hear it. You could feel it. It was simply incredible, a once-in-a-lifetime journey, and we will have complete coverage of her momentous flight on the Blue Origin rocket. Tony DeCopel, Dana Jacobson, and David Begnaud are in New York City to help with the coverage in today's news, of course. But right now, here's today's eye-opener, your world in 90 seconds.
Here's something I never thought I'd see. Me in an astronaut suit.
Gayle is going to space. This is the New Shepard rocket being rolled out.
Over the weekend, Gayle got fitted for her spacesuit. She practiced getting into the capsule and buckling in and out of her seat.
This is exactly what this mission is about, is expanding the perspective of who does space. Why is space important? We use space every day.
I suspect that her fear has been replaced with plans of action. I am just so excited for her. The adrenaline that she's feeling right now is probably just indescribable.
We just saw with our very own eyes our friend Gayle King and the rest of the Blue Origin crew heading into space.
Let's talk about the training. Katie, what surprised you about training?
Yes.
So many seatbelts.
So now that we are the first female crew, I know we're not going to be the last. And I just think it opens doors about innovation and imagination.
That's it. I mean, there we are, folks. Successfully back on Earth. Let me just say, all of us here were excited. There were tears of joy as we saw it all unfold in front of our eyes.
So many emotions running through us right now. I cannot wait to talk to Gayle.
I just have to have a moment with the ground. Let me just appreciate the ground for just a second.
This morning's Eye Opener is presented by Progressive, making it easy to bundle insurance.
Welcome to CBS News from West Texas. She did it.
She did it.
She did it, everyone.
She did it, folks.
Gayle went to space. That's right. And you can hear how excited we are. Here is the liftoff from just about half an hour ago of Blue Origin's New Shepard spacecraft propelling Gayle and an all-woman crew on a 62-mile journey. Once in space, they experienced weightlessness and got a whole new perspective on life down here where we are. Take a listen to this. You can hear Gayle reacting to the moment she experienced weightlessness and seeing Earth and the moon.
The moon! You guys! I will have to tell you, look at the moon!
I love it. I love Gail so
it is amazing
because she's so the childlike wonder that she has, and she's telling everybody, "Look, as if they can't see the moon."
And we loved hearing her voice. On their way back, you can look how the parachutes opened up and helped them kind of slowly cascade down on that capsule's descent from way up there in space. And here is the moment, and we'll see as the crew landed safely. Emphasize on safely back here in West Texas in the desert, and we all took a
big sigh of relief.
Yes, we did.
And here's Gail back on Earth. We already showed you she was kissing the ground in celebration. Perhaps a little bit relief, but I think exhilaration.
Yeah, for sure.
Folks, let me give you some stats here. It was about an 11-minute trip in total, but of course a lot can happen in 11 minutes. So here are some statistics that people may be interested in. The crew capsule reached an apogee, which is the highest point, of 346,802 feet off the ground.
Wow.
The booster reached an apogee of 346,481 feet. The official launch time was at 8:30 a.m. And the capsule landing occurred, and that's at Central Mountain time, Central Time. The capsule landing occurred at 8:40 a.m. and the mission elapsed time was
my favorite
total, right? 10 minutes, 21 seconds.
10 minutes and 21 seconds can change your life.
That's right. I have no doubt. Look, all of these women told me before they
I know exactly where
went
you're
into space,
going. Go ahead.
They all said that they knew that this was going to be a moment that was going to change their lives. They all were bringing their hopes and their dreams. Amanda talked about being the child of refugees. Carrie Ann talked about having the sense of wonder of space ever since she was a child. She's always wanted to go into space. Amanda, who the minute that Jeff Bezos went up on that very first Blue Origin launch, when he came back down, she said, "If you let me go to space, I'm doing an all-woman crew." That was her first thing that she wanted to do.
Believe it. I cannot believe it.
I'm so proud of you. And I know that I speak for the collective because you have been so honest. You've been so vulnerable. And I spoke to your best friend prior to you taking off. And I asked her why it was so important for you to do this. And she said, she said, so she didn't have to hear you say, "I wish I would have done that."
That's so true.
But now, Gayle King, you are officially an astronaut. How do you feel?
I still can't accept that word, but I will say I can't even believe what I saw. When somebody calls this a ride, this was not a ride. What happened to us was not a ride. This was a bona fide friggin' flight. And our instructor, we were so well prepared. So every noise we heard, we knew. But the flight instructor said that I am her best success story. Why? Because she's never had somebody go through the course who's terrified of flying. Everybody who's gone through the course is somebody it's been a lifelong dream. They wanted to do it. So she said, I'm her best success story. I'm so proud of me right now. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe it.
I was just going to say, prior to the launch, you said that you would be so proud of yourself if you went through with this. And you did. What was the best part, Gail?
It's oddly quiet when you get up there. It's really quiet and peaceful. And you look down at the planet and you think, that's where we came from? And to me, it's such a reminder about how we need to do better, be better. Do better, be better human beings.
And what do you mean by that?
Processing. Well, it's so nasty and so vitriolic nowadays. And I mean, if everybody could experience that peace that we had up there and the kindness and what it takes to do what we did, all the people that it took to get us up there and get us back safely, I'll never, ever, ever forget. And when we were up there, have you talked to Katy yet?
I have not.
Okay, when we were up there, after zero G is very difficult. You know, all the training about this is how you get in the chair and this. I look like a friggin' moose getting in the chair. It was like, just let me get in the chair. Let me get the seatbelt on. But, you know, we had a very do this.
How would you describe it?
It's very difficult because you're floating. But the best part was when we got back in our seats after zero G's, Katy sang "What a Wonderful World."
She did?
Isn't that nice?
Oh, come on.
She sang "What a Wonderful World." I see dreams. Oh, yes.
Oh.
Because we'd been asking her to sing all the time, and she wouldn't. And then, because everybody said, sing roar, sing fireworks. And she said, it's not about me. I wanted to talk about the world.
Wow.
No, isn't that nice? You got to ask her about that.
That's really special. And when Lauren got out, she was overcome by emotion for a lot of reasons, and rightfully so. But she spoke to the group and how close you guys have all become because of this experience. How would you describe the camaraderie that you guys now have together?
I would say that we are forever bounded, because you can't go through what we went through to look out for each other, to help each other, and not be changed by that. You know, it really is a true. People throw the word around, but it really is a true sisterhood. Mm-hmm. But it speaks to how we were set up for success. The training was so, I can't stress this enough. The training was so friggin' good. We were set up for success. And it went exactly as they told us it was going to. Mm-hmm. Every boom that you heard, the drones, the drogues coming out, the parachutes coming out, it went exactly as they said.
Are you glad you did it?
I am glad I did it. Yeah. I am glad I did it. Yeah. I am very glad. I have no regrets about doing it.
What would you say to people watching right now that are scared, that are fearful of anything? What would you say to them?
Well, I just said I'm stepping way out of my comfort zone, because this is so not like me. I said up there, I might now get my ears pierced. I've always been afraid.
Which is great. I love that you've never had your ears pierced.
No, even Hootie at the training center. You don't have your ears pierced? I go, because it hurts.
Oh, my gosh.
But I mean, for people that are afraid, Eleanor Roosevelt once said, courage is doing something that scares you, but you do it anyway. And I stepped out of my comfort zone in a way that I never thought was possible for me. Mm-hmm. And now that I've done it, I really do feel I can take on anything. Anything.
Congratulations, Gayle King. You are an astronaut.
Thank you, Chris.
I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for you. And I'm going to go with you to get your ears pierced, because I want to get another hole right here. Go enjoy this with your family. Thank you so, so much. Aisha, oh my goodness. Congratulations.
What a moment,
right?
What a moment.
Gail describing the moment that she unbuckled from her seat and was able to look down at Mother Earth, and how incredibly powerful that was, and also how incredibly peaceful she felt. And it's just so like Gail to sort of describe that moment, and to talk about sometimes the divisions that we've experienced over time here in the course of human civilization, and for Gail to describe this feeling of trying to remove ourselves from that and to try to be better human beings. I thought that was beautiful.
And you can describe Gail in so many different ways. Professionally, she has accomplished so much. Personally, she means so much to so many people. But now you can add astronaut to that long list of titles. And she was reluctant to receive that title out of respect, but it is a beautiful thing to hear her talk about what it was like being up there with those women, which was special. Dr. Mae Jemison, I want to bring you in. We still have you, and we're thankful for that. When you hear Gail talk about what she felt up there, and then come down, touch the earth, and then mention how we're so divided and fractured, and how the perspective from up there, it gave her a different outlook on things.
I think that perspective helps us to know that we are on this planet together, right? You see the atmosphere encompasses everything that you can see. And so maybe that could help us get a feeling that we're really connected.
Yeah.
So when you think about around the world, everybody's looked at the stars. Everybody's looked at the sky. Everybody's had myths about them. And in so many ways, it connects us, right? That above us connects us.
I also find it remarkable, and I would imagine, Doctor, even trained astronauts have a level of trepidation the first time you step into a capsule, the first time you step into a space shuttle, or the second or third time. I always say that sometimes having a little bit of that fear is what keeps life interesting, but also gives you perspective. But when you sit down, when you strap yourself into your seat, and you hear the rumble of those boosters, just describe, we're showing it right now, like describe that feeling of the speed at which you're traveling and accelerating.
So the shuttle's profile is a little bit different because you go for a longer period of time, so you get more G's and you have to experience them for a longer period of time. But the feeling, for me, I just smiled because it was something I had wanted to do for so long, and I just smiled. But at the same time, like you said, there is a little trepidation because you know that you're on tons of high explosives. You know that it's controlled, but you also, as Gail had said, never had so many people looking out for you before, and that you can be there in the moment and live and experience it. I think for many of us, when we think about space and Gail feeling uncomfortable about being called an astronaut, she's a space traveler.
Space traveler.
And astronauts are space travelers.
Yes, and another space traveler.
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry. Let's go on to Blue Origin's live feed.
Rockets going up, and she was so proud. Just kept saying, "Mommy, Mommy." And I know you'll feel the same way when you watch it. And you brought a real-life Daisy up.
That's
it was
right.
important for you, not only because it's your daughter's name, but why else was that important to bring it?
Daisies are common flowers, but they grow through any condition. They go through cement, they go through cracks, they go through walls. They are resilient. They are powerful, they are strong, they are everywhere. Flowers are, to me, God's smile, but it's also a reminder of our beautiful earth and the flowers here and God's smile and the beautiful magic that is everywhere, all around us, and even in a simple daisy. So to really appreciate it and remember it and take care of it and protect it.
Gail shared with us the song that you sang when you got up there. What a wonderful world. Why was that important to sing that particular song?
I've covered that song in the past, and obviously, like, my higher self is always steering the ship, because I had no clue that one day I would decide to sing a little bit of that in space. But I think that it's not about me. It's not about singing my songs. It's about a collective energy in there. It's about us. It's about making space for future women and taking up space and belonging. And it's about this wonderful world that we see right out there and appreciating it. This is all for the benefit of Earth.
You have done so many incredible things in your life, selling millions of records.
And it is a wonderful world.
It really is, man.
To hear her sing that, I bet you it was a moment, as Gail described.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
And we can feel it as well, and we will continue our coverage, so we appreciate you sticking around. We will have more on Gail's incredible flight into space and her safe return to planet Earth on a day that will go down in history as we celebrate this trip to space, because in my opinion, every trip to space is worth celebrating. This is CBS Mornings. We'll be right back.
I think I asked direct questions. I don't know that they're tough questions per se. When do consumers actually get to touch and feel a difference in their lives? So you would encourage Democrats to work with Donald Trump on an issue like health care. That's the role of Face the Nation, to focus on the issues at hand. That means a civil conversation with perspective.
Sunday morning, Wicked Oscar nominee Cynthia Erivo. A few words from Flo, plus 100 years of The New Yorker. Listen for the trumpet.
It was almost like being face-to-face with the devil.
Women riding bicycles dismembered.
She just vanished.
48 hours reports. I fought and fought.
911, what is your emergency?
She disappeared off the face of the earth. Ever think in your wildest dreams someone might want to kill you?
This almost became a game of psychological warfare.
You're caught. You're gonna go down.
Stream 48 hours, 24/7. CBS Sunday night.
Here we go.
The ultimate tradition continues.
From what I've seen, it's like chaos.
America's longest-running news magazine show is back.
For 60 minutes!
60 minutes.
With a new season.
Okay, let's go.
You're willing to talk about anything. I'm open to all of it. Ask me the hard-hitting questions.
So how do you get over the nerves?
Honestly, it's a whole bunch of mind
The most influential people.
Who's the best coach in college football?
Let me see a mirror so I can look at it.
Are you a billionaire yet?
None of your business. Ain't you trying to get me robbed?
Investigative journalism.
Am I getting a real look at what life is like in here today? Absolutely not.
Do you think people visiting know that these were looted?
When stories threaten our way of life, 60 Minutes demands answers.
This is the pager that Hezbollah was using.
Do you have hope that you may find him yet? They were asking me to do something that was illegal.
They're fighting for faulty parts?
Yeah.
What is the most important takeaway for our audience?
How big of a problem is doping?
Where was the military?
Why are people suspicious?
That sounds like a problem.
How was this possible?
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Whoa.
Wow.
What is going on?
I'm Scout Pelley.
I'm John Worth.
I'm Leslie Stahl.
I'm Bill Whitaker.
I'm Sharon Alfonsi.
I'm Cecilia Vega.
I'm Anderson Cooper. This is 60 Minutes.
The CBS News original.
Showtime, baby.
It's time for 60 Minutes Sunday on CBS. Don't miss a minute. Now streaming. What happens when you get conversation over conflict?
I think they've taught me to have grace and compassion.
When we follow the human side of the headline.
I'm not asking that we ignore disability, rather that we do not ignore ability.
When news takes you where the story happens.
We've just crossed into Lebanon.
When the world's best journalists come together to cover your world, you get the all-new CBS Evening News every weeknight.
When you need your sports news all the time,
We've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you.
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With highlights.
What a finish at the final round of play.
And in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap,
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
Let 60 Minutes take you on a private tour of the National Archives.
So there may be treasures like this buried in boxes.
Historical secrets from America's past.
So this is original from 1778?
Now, Gayle King, you are officially an astronaut. How do you feel?
I still can't accept that word, but I will say I can't even believe what I saw. When somebody calls this a ride, this was not a ride. What happened to us was not a ride. This was a bona fide friggin' flight. And our instructor, we were so well prepared. So every nose.
Well, as you heard it there from Gayle King herself, it was a bona fide freaking flight. That's my new favorite phrase. And what a flight it was, folks, carrying our very own Gayle King and 5 other incredible women. They have now landed safely. We will have much, much more coverage ahead. Stick around.
Can see clearly now. Clearly, CBS Mornings.
Weekdays on CBS.
Yeah!
Tony, coming?
No, I'm gonna stick around for an hour.
CBS Mornings Plus with Adriana Diaz and Tony DeCopel, right after CBS Mornings.
It's just like mornings.
Plus fun. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day.
Politics isn't a game. When do consumers actually get to touch and feel a difference in their lives? Politics is about policy. So you would encourage Democrats to work with Donald Trump on an issue like healthcare. I'm a voracious consumer of information, and I'm impatient. I don't like to be spun. Do you know if there are active terror cells in the United States right now? To be moderator of Face the Nation means bringing the most powerful stakeholders to the table to become better informed.
When you need your sports news all the time,
We've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you.
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With highlights.
What a finish at the final round of play.
And in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap,
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.
While America's relaxing policies around social media and the internet, Germany is cracking down on lies and vitriol online.
How do people react when you take their phones from them?
They are shocked.
Which approach makes more sense? Plus, Timothy Chalamet only on 60 Minutes. Don't miss true crime anytime you want, anywhere you go with the 48 Hours podcast. Real crimes.
Like a John Grisham novel come to life.
Real lives.
He pointed a gun to me and said, "This is the day you die."
and he shot me.
Real justice.
There's some questions that have to be asked and need to be answered.
I'm an innocent man, and I hope the whole world can see it now.
Catch the latest episodes. Listen to 48 Hours on Apple Podcasts.
The all-new CBS Evening News every weeknight.
This is CBS.
Politics isn't a game. When do consumers actually get to touch and feel a difference in their lives? Politics is about policy. So you would encourage Democrats to work with Donald Trump on an issue like healthcare? I'm a voracious consumer of information, and I'm impatient. I don't like to be spun. Do you know if there are active terror cells in the United States right now? To be moderator of Face the Nation means bringing the most powerful stakeholders to the table to become better informed.
CBS Mornings Plus, clearly more news, more smart conversation.
More money-saving tips, more recipes.
More uplifting ways to get you on your way.
Plus, more sports, more weather.
Clearly, more CBS Mornings.
Plus,
sunshiny
History made. That was the moment Gail and her Blue Origin crewmates, now astronauts, touched back down to Earth. I'm going to send it back to Tony and Dana in New York. Guys, I don't know about you. My phone's been blowing up with people texting me, old, young, how proud they were, tears in their eyes watching this mission to space.
I'm afraid to turn my phone on, Vlad. It's so exciting to watch, and, you know, I love Gail so much. She is so relentlessly herself. I mean, the most authentic person on TV. I've been saying it for years.
And you could hear the joy in her voice after, in that interview. I mean, we saw it when she kissed the ground, but hearing the joy in her voice, and of course she doesn't regret it.
Yeah.
She can't regret this moment.
The self-description of herself as like a moose trying to get back in
I know,
the
that
chair.
was great. That was great. I can
mean,
imagine.
So good. We've got Vanessa O'Brien here and Bill Harwood.
David Begnaud also with us. Has been with us all
David,
morning.
Mr. Begnaud. And we all actually, we connected with the same quote from Eleanor Roosevelt, which Gail came out of the top of her head there, interview out there in the desert in Texas. Courage is doing something when you know the risks. I'm mangling it somewhat. It was much more eloquent the way she said it. But you were talking about this very same point, Vanessa.
Yeah, I love that they used the word courage, because for me the difference between courage and bravery is courage, you understand the risk that you're about to undertake. Gail was saying over and over again how prepared and how trained she felt. She knew exactly what was going to happen when. And that's not by accident. That's because you have extremely dedicated people who see the success of this flight as their own success.
And I love, as Gail was talking, as everyone was talking, as Katie was talking, you were nodding so much like, yes, yes, I know, that's the moment. It's like all of you, what is it now, 58 that have gone up in Blue Origin, you share this moment that you've experienced something that many of us maybe would want to, but haven't.
Yeah, and we can't underestimate how inspirational this is for all the boys and girls, men and women. It really doesn't matter about the age. There was the reference to no matter where you are, rich or poor, young or old, male or female, you can look up and see the stars and the sky.
Earlier said what an amazing moment to be alive, and in part because for so long, Bill, the history of space travel was countries, and now it's countries plus companies. We've got SpaceX, we've got Blue Origin. What does it mean to see this happen today? How far into the future of commercial spaceflight does this push us?
I don't know that this one flight pushes it that much further, incrementally, of course, but I think the real message is the all-female crew. I think that will say something to a large segment of our population that has been underused in space, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, just over 100 women have flown in space internationally. The number for men is over 600. So there's some ground to catch up, and I think this flight might, in fact, if it has significance along the lines you're asking, it's the inspiration value
Exactly.
it might have.
I feel like if you were to take a vote from the general public today, do you want to fund travel to the moon? Do you want to fund travel to Mars? You're going to get a lot more yeses now than you would have at 7 a.m. this morning.
When you speak of inspiration, Bill, I'm reminded of this quote: "Gravity holds no power over a spirit determined to soar." And as we watched the launch and I heard what I thought was Gail's voice oohing and ahhing and oh wow, it gave me the chills. And then we heard Katy Perry sing, right? Since you've been there, when you look out over that and you see the earth beneath you, what goes through your head?
It is, you feel that it is really delicate and precious, and that you almost have that sense of responsibility. And the reason for that is, or what I worry about in my head, is maybe man is too clever, and that Earth's regeneration capabilities will, lag or stall to men's creativity and advancement and scientific technology. So I worry that it can get out of balance, and that's where the sense of responsibility comes. But
Bill, we were all talking sort of in the break about this idea, and Tony brought it up, of travel for others. This is an amazing moment with these 6 women. But what about advancing it? Almost not saying to jump and leap ahead, but what is that next step so that more everyday people potentially might be able to experience something like this?
I think the only way the price comes down to the point, and remember, we don't know what Blue Origin charges a paying customer to go fly on their rocket, but we think it's in the $500,000 a ride per person. It's going to take a long time before those prices come down to where, quote, normal people, quote, close quote, could fly. But perhaps with economies of scale, if more and more people do this, they launch more and more rockets, then the price comes down. That's the goal.
Am I the only person who wouldn't take the ride?
I said before, this is what's really funny, I said I wouldn't right now in the moment, but now after watching and knowing how afraid Gail was, I'm like, okay, I'd go.
You'd go.
Like, now I want to go. Like, I'm on board.
And I wouldn't want to miss out. I actually think David Oyelowo put his finger on it. He was with Gail in December when she was taking the measure of this opportunity and trying to decide whether she would go. And ultimately, she doesn't want to miss out. And Oprah's tired of hearing her, or worried that if she didn't go, she'd be talking about it forever. I agree with that sentiment. That would get me. But you're a hard no?
Hell no. Chance in heaven.
Vanessa, you can work on him.
But
I'll be there reporting on y'all.
I would point out.
But why?
Wait. I'd point out one thing. You cannot lose sight of the fact that you're riding a rocket.
Yes.
Okay? This is not getting on a commercial
There's
airline.
a danger factor.
Even if you launch 100 a year.
Thank you, Bill.
So there's a risk factor, and whether you call it courage or bravery to get on that rocket. I remember the space shuttle after Challenger, which I covered.
We'd gotten so used to it.
I didn't want to fly after that.
Yeah. And we'd gotten so used to it, we didn't think that a problem could happen.
I don't want to do that. I've got kids, So it's like, it's a different perspective, but you can't lose sight of the fact that this is high risk by almost any standard.
Vanessa, Bill, thank you.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Courageous.
We also do have some other news stories that we want to bring you, including the latest